From the Oklahoma Newsroom, this is an OU update. I'm Jenni Carlson here with OU beat writer Ryan Aber. Ryan, Bedlam is upon us, and yet a lot of Sooner fans, a lot of Sooner coaches thinking back about Saturday's game at Lubbock, and a lot of penalties for the Sooners, 10 for over 100 yards, and a lot of them were the major variety. What's the talk this week amongst coaches and players as they get ready for another highly charged game in Bedlam?
Well, it's about cleaning those up and also controlling their emotions. We've seen a lot of personal fouls and unsportsmanlike conduct penalties out of this team for the last 2 games, 7 combined over the Texas Tech and Kansas State games. And in an environment like Texas Tech, on some level you understand it. The emotions get high down there, and it gets chippy, but the emotions are going to be high on Saturday. And so often penalties like this can change the tide of a game. We've seen Oklahoma State struggle with those, but Oklahoma really needs to clean those up and avoid those penalties because a lot of them have happened on the offensive side of the ball. And as good as Oklahoma's offense is, at times they can't afford to lose 15, even 30 yards like we saw on Saturday with CeeDee Lamb, even though the Big 12 apparently told Lincoln Riley that the first of those penalties, the one that caused the second, shouldn't have been a penalty at all. Well,
yeah, but that could have been a situation where in the moment he might have gotten 2, and if they were personal fouls, he could have been ejected, Ryan.
Yeah, the first one was a personal foul. The second one was the unsportsmanlike conduct, where if you get 2 unsportsmanlike conducts, you're done for the night. So got a little bit lucky in that regard, but that's why Lincoln Riley didn't pull him immediately. He said that the explanation that he got from the officials, which was that CeeDee Lamb had kicked the defender, he saw it and said that no kick happened, so he didn't feel like that was something that warranted it. But still, you can't have the reaction. You can't have the reaction that we saw from Cody Ford when he grabbed a Texas Tech player sort of around the neck. You can't have the reaction we saw from Bobby Evans from the extra point attempt late in that game, and there's been others. There were 3 in the Kansas State game as well.
Well, and that was the most penalties in a game since 2015 against West Virginia when OU had 12. So, I mean, it's been a minute since they've had double digits, and yet was there something you felt like changed in that game? Has this been building? Like you said, we've seen some other games where they've had some penalties that really are unnecessary.
Yeah, I think for the most part Oklahoma's able to keep their emotions in check, but Oklahoma's offense tends to get people trying to get under their skin, and it gets under the skin of the opposing team, and that can be sort of combustible at points, and we saw that boil over on Saturday on a couple of occasions, most notably I think the Cody Ford play, which happened right after a Texas Tech guy had been called for targeting. That winds up getting overturned, and all of a sudden Oklahoma gets pushed back. The CeeDee Lamb one, Oklahoma's at 1st and goal at the 7 as a result of that play, and then all of a sudden they're pushed out of field goal range and wind up having to punt when they really could have taken control of that game at that point. So those things can be game changers, and it hasn't been a season-long problem for this team, but it's one that Lincoln Riley was really, really concerned about after the game. All
right, we'll see if the Sooners can get that turned around on Saturday. Bedlam, again, 2:30, an ABC broadcast if you're not heading to Norman for the game. And we'll have all the coverage, all the lead up here at newsok.com. So be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoma.